Afternoon, everyone. I apologize profusely about this morning, but between the ice and feeling really miserable, I thought it was best just to not have class this morning. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Maya Angelou and then specifically about the poem Still I Rise. I'm going to be looking at my notes because they're on the side of my computer, so I apologize in advance if it seems strange. Uh, so, Still I Rise was initially published in 1978 in a collection called And Still I Rise. Angelou's point or theme is really the faith in the notion that the Black woman, the African American woman, will ultimately be able to remove the weight from her shoulders and stand tall and proud and rise. It's really important that you look at the words of the poem. So, Still really emphasizes the fact that the African woman continues to be a strong presence in the life of those around her. It's an acknowledgement of both the past and the present, and even to a certain degree, acknowledgement of future hope for African American women. The end really is all about that kind of defiance. And Still I Rise. If you listen to the video I put up, you can actually hear the way she delivers it, and there's a great deal of emphasis on and. The poem itself is 7 stanzas, 4 lines each, and then a longer ending stanza of 15 lines length. We're not really going to go into poetry and stanzas and the division, but let me just say that she really thought about the way the poem was organized, and she really wanted to express the sense of oppression that not only all African Americans had experienced throughout history, but really the sense of oppression that Black women had experienced. Her own history was one of repression. At the age of 13, her mom sent her to live with other family members down south, and she was a victim of rape, and for a good portion of her youth, she didn't speak. But I'm not quite sure if it's urban legend or myth, but she claims that because she didn't speak, the librarian in her town was consistently giving her books to read, and basically she read every book in the library from A to Z. And that experience, and also the experience of really listening to other people, because she herself wasn't communicating verbally, so she was listening, really allowed her to become a better writer. She was really kind of the fly on the wall or the observer. So it's an interesting perspective on point of view and the narrator. She finally did speak when the man who raped her, she actually found out that he was about to be convicted and he killed himself. And at that point, her guilt and her pain caused her to actually speak. So let's go back to the poem. In the second stanza of the poem, Angela really starts to ask us questions, and they're pointed questions about, attitude, and why does the white male population fear the Black woman, and the idea of what she called sassiness, and that even throughout poverty and financial concerns and concerns for children, the Black woman continued to have her sassiness. The third stanza is really a switch to future tense, and it's Angelou's way of showing that it's inevitable that American women will continue to take their place in society and in history. And it's inevitable as the movement of the moon and the sun and the occurrence of high and low tides. The fourth stanza really talks about the expectations of the oppressor, how the oppressor views Black women as, lowering their eyes and bowing down before them, very much from times of slavery, that the black female slave was submissive to their owner. They spoke in a weak voice, and Angelou is really fighting against this stereotype. She wants us to understand that that is simply what the oppressor has put onto the Black woman, but it is no way the real nature of Black women. The sixth stanza really outlines her own oppression, and it really looks at a description of various methods that she experienced. And again, this idea that, that these women are going to rise. The seventh stanza is kind of interesting because it kind of talks about the sexual nature of African American women, not necessarily in a negative manner, but the fact that for an African American woman to take responsibility for her sexuality is a very, very important way of showing her strength and her ability to continue to rise. Finally, the longest paragraph, which is the last paragraph, really is a discussion about the everything that Angelou had to hold inside of her, the kind of black ocean of shame for the rape, of pain that the people around her experienced, both because of their race and because of their gender, and this idea that the legacy of her ancestors and their hope, their continuous hope, even after being slaves in America, really allows her to grow and to remain strong. And she really sees the poem as her way to represent the African American woman. It's a pretty straightforward poem, I think, but in and of its simplicity, it's an incredibly strong poem, and it's one that really continues to resonate with me. And clearly, I'm not an African American woman, but I still can feel the sense of, pushing through oppression and removing the chains that bind, and, proclaiming to the world that even through all of this, still she will rise. I hope you enjoy the poem. You will have an assignment to actually write your own version. So, think about it. Don't be simplistic with it. Poems can either be really simple or they can be complex in their word choice, and I'd like to see a little complexity. So you're going to finish out this module, and then you'll begin on the next module, which I believe is Nam Lee, for next week. I hope you all stay safe, warm, and not sick, and I will see you guys next week.